Hi guys, thanks for coming back. Welcome to the next video. Um, there's a couple of things that I want to talk to you all about. Actually, I'm probably going to break it down into a couple of different videos because it's quite a lot actually if I go ahead and put it all in one. I wanted to go ahead and touch base with you guys in regards to, um, let's see, what do I need to do first? Let's double back and talk about some of the last videos that we've been doing. Now, in the last couple of videos that we did, we were understanding about time and time travel, and that the past, present, and future are all happening at the same time. And the Lord was pointing us toward time. He was pointing us toward a snippet of time, a small piece, a fragment of time. He is basically saying that it's this little part of time because a snippet is a part of the whole. Now, when we went and looked up some of the definitions of snippet, we found that there were several different definitions in regards to snippet, especially when we looked up the word fragment in the Strong's Concordance. And so we understand that the Lord is trying to tell us quite a few things. He's telling us about a narrow pathway. He's telling us about all different kinds of things. And so if you've not had a chance to go back and look at those snippet videos, please take a moment to do so. There's a lot of information in there, and I know it may not all make sense and connect all at once, but at some point it's going to. I want to read a word that the Lord gave me actually just the other day. I shared it on Facebook already, but it's in regards to understanding the time and everything that the Lord has given us because there's so much of it. And so this was June the 19th, 2017, and I basically just went to the Lord and I was asking Him about a lot of stuff because I've taken a look at that Interstellar movie, and thank you, Greg. I appreciate the login information that you provided. I went to him about the movie. I went to him about the messages about time, snippet, and the dream that I had with my daughter about being in a different time. I have questions, and some of the questions that I have is, are the battles occurring in different times? Is the end time battles, is that all going to occur in different times? Are we going to be in different times when that's occurring? Is some of the battles that we're going to be doing kind of like behind the scenes because it's going to be in different times? Are we able to go back and forth? I mean, I had a ton of questions, and so being one that asks a lot of questions, the Lord is used to that. But and then I had some recent dreams too about two men and even attacks in my dreams and attacks in my physical body. I want to talk to you all about that as well. And even some of the other things that my body seems to be going through. I want to update you on that as well. Okay, so on June the 19th, the Lord just was trying. I mean, I threw so many questions out at him. I don't even know which one per se he was trying to answer, but I will read to you what he told me. He said, "My child, listen to the words that I say to you this day. You are one that I adore, one that will enable the masses to come unto me, one that will show others the way, my chosen one to show others who I really am, to you and to them, that I am the way, the life. My child, hear me when I say you will be often spoke of as the charger." Now, I thought I heard charger, and I questioned that. I said, "The charger, Lord?" And he made sure I heard it correctly. He said changer. He said you will be spoken of as the changer. And so he continued on. He said, "My child, listen, for many do not know of the things that I tell you this day, for my words have not been heard nor spoken until this time. You have been given the opportunity to show the world how it relates to time and what the truth is about it. While you suffer to understand all the bits and pieces, I say to you this day, do not do so. At one time, all will come together. Continue sharing what is given unto you, my child. Show them what I show you, and we will continue to understand deeper truths. My love, listen to me. You are going to embark upon a journey, one that will be guided by my hand, one that will show you great and mighty things. You have been called to do so, and the time for such is nigh. Wait upon me to move ahead and allow my spirit to guide you wherever you go. My love for you is enormous, and I desire to hold you in my arms very soon. Quickly, my children, ready yourselves, for time is approaching where no man can work. Prepare yourselves. Keep me near, for I will show you the way to go. Shalom, my loves. And that was the end of the message. And so when he said that you would be often spoke of as the changer, my mind went back to some of the questions that I was asking him, because some of the questions that I had asked him was, Lord, are we going to be able to go back in time? Are we going to be able to sow seeds in people's lives, have something changed, altered just slightly, so that when their time to be called into service arrives, as they move forward, they'll be ready? Is what we're going to do, that is part of the battle, actually being behind the scenes to do that? Are we able to go backwards in time? Now remember, when we did some of those videos, and I don't know if it was the one on time or the one in the snippets, we talked about some of the scriptures that talked about time and how time was extended, time was shortened, how it moved backwards on the steps, how the sun was standing still, so it lengthened the days, it lengthened years, it gave, it shortened them. We know that if they're not shortened in the end, no flesh would live. And so we know that the Lord's in control of that. And so why is he showing us this information? Is he showing us that a small snippet of time he will take us to go back and forth? I'm not sure. Are we going back to the beginning? And I've asked this question before, is the time, the snippet of time, is that when we're actually taken to the island? And is the island the spiritual Garden of Eden? Now, when he gave me the information, June of 2017, which 2016, June of last year, I believe it was, when he was talking about Zanzibar and the places of safety. And I asked the Lord in regards to, was this, where was this place? And was it an island? And it was the island. But my question was, is this the spiritual Garden of Eden? And he was trying to link it to where there was the one guy, was it Stan Deo or somebody, that actually was trying to identify that was the area where the earthly Garden of Eden was. And so there was some type of a link that I was being provided when I was asking these questions with the Lord. And so, are we going back to the garden? I would say so. I thought it to be so last year, and I still would say so at this point in time. And so that was some of the questions that I had in regards, and I still have some of these questions, and they're still swirling around. But the Lord has said, it will all come to be. What did he say? At one time, all will come together. So, at some point, he says, while you suffer to understand all the bits and pieces, I say to you this day, do not do so. And so And so we must not have all the information yet. We must not have all that we need to be able to fully understand what the Lord is trying to show us. So we follow the breadcrumbs that He gives us, and we stay on that path. Um, and it's quite an interesting journey that He's taking us on. But for some of us, we're getting ready to go on a journey. So let's talk about that a little bit. The Lord gave me the vision that when I in the vision, I felt like I was in the new home, and I'm in the new home now. But in the vision, I was still real life. I was still living in the old house, but in the vision, I had just gotten into the new home, and I heard, "You're not going to be able to even enjoy it before being called into service." And so I understood that. I understood that whenever I moved into the new home, it would be pretty quickly right after that the Lord would call me into service. And how long would that time be? I did not know. What would the service be? I did not know. But I'm open to it. You know, I'm ready. And so I have been looking and watching and waiting every day. Lord, Lord, is it today? Is it today? There has been a lot of other people that have put out videos. I know TB Shores had put one out in regards, or more than one, in regards to Gemini and the twins and the dates that she had in there. And when we were given the information in regards to Enoch's calendar, that whole big breadcrumb trail to where we finally understood we were looking at a calendar, but we were looking at a watch also, and looking at time. And we understood that the quarter of time that the Lord was pointing us to was actually the spring area. And so we know we've been looking at spring, and we know that June the 21st, which is tomorrow on the Gregorian calendar, actually marks the first day of summer. On the Gregorian calendar. But on the Enoch calendar, it's delayed for a little bit. I'm not sure exactly how long, 10 days to 2 weeks or something like that. It's about that time frame. And so we're, you know, in the Enoch calendar, we still understand that we have some time before the spring would be over. And so we're looking at that in terms of a time frame, and you know, not marking days or dates or times or anything, but I'm here to say things are going to be happening pretty quickly. I know in my spirit I'm seeing things and I'm understanding things, and I'm watching them excel, and I'm watching things happen. You know, if I happen to turn on the news, which is not something that I watch every day, but I see that things are happening one right after the other, and that's the exact thing that the Lord has been telling us would happen, and it has happened. And so at this point, we need to know and understand that we should expect to see things continuing to happen one right after the other, but also in greater and quicker succession. And so you won't even be able to get over one thing before something else happens. And that is the way that He put it to us in those last messages in regards to that. Okay, so I wanted to just touch base with you about that. I did watch the Interstellar movie. Can I just say, if you have an opportunity to watch it, please go and watch it. What a fantastic movie that was. I literally had to stop it and, you know, double back and say, what is it that he said? Because it would have been something that the Lord had already told me in the past in separate messages. I mean, I had to stop it so many times that, you know, and just talk to my husband, because I was so excited about hearing what was going on, some of the stuff that the Lord had already told me in the past. And you know, in trying to explain it all in just a few seconds or a few minutes of of study that I've been doing, and hearing from the Lord, and all of the things that we've been learning, and hours of research and prayer, and it's hard to convey it in just a few minutes, but he is understanding and realizing that the Lord has been leading us into this particular area. And so he did also knew about the dream that I had about my daughter. And so to see this movie and then to understand what it is that's going on, I just tried to explain and convey that there's something very significant about this, and we need to be aware of and try to figure out what the Lord is saying. Greg, thank you very much. Again, I don't know if I thanked you already, but thank you very much for your login information. I greatly appreciate that. So my questions are going forth. Is this the spiritual Garden of Eden that we're getting ready to go to? I think it is. Is it the island? I think it is. We started in the garden? Are we going back? Is there something that we have to do to make amends? There's a lot of different theories on it as to figure out what it is that's going to be going on. And so we've talked to you in different videos in the past, and I can recall talking about it because I was just like, time is overlapping. It's like it's overlapping, overlapping each other. And I didn't know it then, but it was like the Lord was already downloading some information into me even back then. And those videos is just about how things can be overlapping, if it's the past, present, and future all overlapping. And we were told, the Lord told me, you were at the crucifixion, you were there. And so it's going to be very interesting to hear, to finally understand what this is all about. And so I'm going to stop questioning it, and I'm just going to lay it down for now, because there's a lot of other information that I want to talk to you all about. Now, when I had the dream about my daughter being in a different time, and in my mind I had that thought, how can I communicate with her? And I was told that I could leave her a message, that I could write her a note of some sort, or leave her a message. That was back on May the 31st when I had that dream. And on June the 2nd, I kept hearing the song Bridge Over Troubled Waters. I kept hearing that particular song, and something resounded within me to the point where I made a notation in my journal, and that was on June the 2nd. And I put here, heard Bridge Over Troubled Water song, and was reminded Jesus is our bridge. I will lay me down, and he has done that for us to cross over. Sail on Silver Girl is a lyric that's in there, which makes me think of the bride. Your time has come to shine, which makes me think of the bride. And Still Water Runs Deep, which, makes me, it all brought it back. And I, with all of the questions swirling in my head, at that time, I didn't really know why it was resounding within me. But I think now there's a connection there somehow with maybe the first fruits that are going to be leaving. There's a connection there to that bridge. Jesus is our bridge. He is our bridge. And there's only one way to get to where we need to go, and that's through him. He is the door. But there is, I think there's going to be something that the first fruits are going to be doing that will be assisting them, others, to get to that bridge. And it's got something to do with time. It's got something to do with snippets and fragments of time. Do we go back to plant a seed? What, I don't know. I hesitate to dig into it. I know I'm thinking outside of the box, because all of this information that the Lord is just kind of placing on my lap is like well out of my lane. I mean, this is not something that I would reach out to try and understand all on my own. This is just something completely different. Okay, so let me skip ahead just a little bit, and I want to talk to you all about this. On June the 6th, now get this, on June the 6th, I awoke in the middle of the night and I felt the right side of my tongue. Now I'm going to stick my tongue out, but I'm just showing you, I'm just showing you where I felt something on my tongue, okay? Just the very edge. It was on the right side and it felt like it was on fire or burning. That's what it felt like. Like someone had touched it with something. Now, when I woke up, I felt it, okay? And so I immediately, in my mind immediately went to where the seraphim was touching lips with the burning coals in Isaiah 6. He was speaking of, let's see, Isaiah 6. He was speaking of the, let's just look it up right quick. Let me put my pen there because I'm going to come back and talk about that other one. But in Isaiah 6, it was the strangest thing too. It wasn't my whole tongue, it wasn't my mouth. It was just the very edge, like just the very, very edge, very front edge. Okay. Okay, Isaiah 6. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above it stood seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. And one cried to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the posts of the door were shaken. And the posts of the door were shaken by the voice of him who cried out, and the whole house was filled with smoke. So I said, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of people of unclean lips. I'm sorry about that noise. My kitty cat's playing with a toy on the floor. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. And I dwell in the midst of people of unclean lips, for my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. And then one of the seraphim flew to me, having his hand a live coal, which he had taken with the tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth with it and said, Behold, this has touched your lips. Your iniquity is taken away, and your sin is purged, or atoned for. And I also heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, Here I am, send me. And then he said, Go and tell this to the people. And so he gave him information to go and share. And so that's the scripture that came to mind when I woke up on the morning of June the 6th. And so I did some searching and some researching, and I came across I went ahead and, you know what I did is I went into Blue Letter Bible, and I clicked for the Strongs so that I had the Strongs come up, and the Strongs for that particular word, lips, was H6310. And basically it means mouth opening, not lips per se, but then it said specifically the edge, the portion, or the side. It was the mouth or the opening, specifically the edge, the portion, or the side. And that's what got me, was the edge or the side, because that's exactly where on my tongue that I felt that burning, right here. And I said, oh my goodness. And so I had to make a notation of that. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. But I wrote it down on June the 6th. Something burning something hot and burning on my tongue, like fire on my tongue. And so that was just before I got the word snippet, because that was in my journal. I got the word snippet the first time on June the 7th. And I'm just trying to make my way through so that I'm not forgetting anything, because okay, here's June the 11th. This is some of the questions that I had. It was a thought or a question. Will the battle, the end time battle, take place in a different time? Or will we actually be in a different time when the battle is taking place? I mean, are we going to be watching it? Are we going to be able to see it like I saw my daughter in a different time? You know, I'm not sure. I know a lot of people have, they've had dreams or they've had visions where they feel like they're behind a glass and they're watching stuff, or it's a show getting ready to start and they're going to be able to see it. So is that actually, are we going to be in our places of safety when this stuff happens, to where we'll be able to watch it in behind something, the veil? You know, I don't know. And that's where my questions was. Are we actually already going to be in our places of safety at that time? You know, I don't know. The Lord has said in the past, things will not happen as we expect. Now, He said that. And for some reason on this day, that came back to mind, to the point where I noted it down in my journal. And so I've always, oh, I feel the Holy Spirit all over me. I've always understood that we didn't really know, we never know all of it. We don't know all of it. And we only get little pieces of it. And all of our pieces need to connect into everyone else's pieces. And so even though we may not understand it, we need to share it. And we talked about that. You know, we put it out there, especially when the Lord is urging us and prompting us to do so. And so a lot of these questions that are popping up too, you know, things I've never even thought about, you know. So I've always known things are not going to play out the way I thought it was going to be. Especially, I mean, think about it, guys. Let's think about what we knew and understood 5 years ago compared to what we know and understand today. You know, 3 years ago we thought we had a great handle on it, and now 2 years later, how much more have we learned? How much more have we understood that the Lord has given unto us? And so, things aren't going to play out the way that we think. That they're just not. Now, some will play out the way that we understand it to be. And some things are going to be different. But these are just some things that I wanted to go ahead and catch you all up on in my journal. Okay, where are we at? 28 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into some of these dreams. Now, on the 15th of June, today's the 20th, so this was 5 days ago. On the 15th of June, I had several dreams that night. Now, I think I had 3 dreams that night, but I cannot remember the last dream. I can remember the first dream, and I can remember the second dream. But the third one, I cannot remember. Now, the first dream that I had, it was very strange. I was in this building, some type of building. And I was overseeing something. I was in a leadership position of some sort. I don't know what it was. I don't know what I was doing. I think I was helping people, maybe helping oversee something. I can remember walking down some steps, and I just decided I was going to jump the last few, and I looked at my feet, and I saw I had like black pumps on, like work dress shoes, like a low heel, nice pump, and not like strappy sandals or anything like that. It was a dress shoe. And and so I had walked down the hall, and I came across this man who was holding a vacuum cleaner, I believe, or some type of carpet cleaner or something. And he was asking me about something. And I cannot recall what he said to me, but he basically uh, said that he needed my help with something. And so I was, he turned to go into an elevator, and I followed him into the elevator. And as the doors were closing, and I was standing behind him in the elevator, and as the doors were closing in this elevator, I knew I was in trouble. It was like instinctively I knew I was in trouble, and there was somebody behind me that was grabbing me and throwing me down to the floor of the elevator, and I woke up kicking and screaming. And so I don't know exactly what it was, who it was, why I was there. I don't really know what was going on, but I was lured into the elevator under the guise of helping someone, helping this man get something done to get his job done. And I was attacked in the elevator, and it was very, very strange. So now I need to say something too, before I go into the other dream. Um, while I was at work just a couple of days ago, well, let's see, today is Tuesday, so it had to have been Friday, Thursday or Friday. While I was at work, I was going into the elevator. And as I went into the elevator and the doors closed, I had a thought come to mind. I wonder if this is how it is when we're going into different dimensions, different realms. You walk through a door, and when the door closes, when the door opens again, you're somewhere new. Is that the easiest way that we can explain it? Is the fact that you get on one floor, and it looks completely different. You go up, you get off, and it's a whole different, completely different place. Is that the way that it works for dimensions, realities? I don't know why I had that thought in the middle of the day, but I did. And so I didn't even notate it down in my journal, but I wanted to make sure that I brought that to your attention. And so, anyway, in this elevator, I got attacked by these two men. It was two men. And so I'm going to read to you what I do have, because I need to get into detail in regards to the second dream. Okay, so I had many dreams last night. One was an attack where this man drew me into an elevator under the guise of helping someone. As soon as the doors closed, I knew I was in trouble and was attacked by two men. I remember waking, kicking and screaming for help. The one that stands out to me, though, even more, I wanted to share, and I believe it is showing us something. So here's what I remember of the dream. In the dream, I saw the number 13. I then saw two men. Now, while I was typing this up, I didn't realize the last dream had two men, and this dream had two men. And so while I was typing it up, just as soon as I said I then saw two men, I realized, oh my gosh, just like the first, there was two men in the first dream. So that was weird. So two men is significant here, and so we wanna keep that in mind. So in the dream, I saw the number 13, and I saw two men. I saw these two men only for about a second or so. It was like they swirled past me very quickly. Now, when I say that, I mean it was just like I saw two people. It was like when you're looking at like a yearbook picture, and you're looking at one picture. When you're looking at a picture like on a phone or an iPad or a computer, and you just swipe to see the other one and it just goes right by you. Okay, that's the way it was when I saw this in the dream. They just went right by me, and I saw these two men. I did not see the face of one of them, but one I did. Names, or so I thought that were names, in black letters were under them, like pictures in a yearbook might have a name under it. So the first one went by, and it went by so quick I didn't really see the face, and I didn't see if there was a name under the picture. But the second one that went by, I saw the face and I saw the name. And so this is what I saw. The man that I was able to see the face, I did see this name, and the name that I saw under his face was Mayban, Maban. And the face looked very, very familiar. But it was quick. And so at first I hesitated to even say anything about it. And when I was first talking about it. But later on, I did say who I thought it looked like. So they went by very quickly. Now I heard a thought. I heard something while I was in the dream. They will come in white. Okay, so two men go right by me very quick. I don't see the face or the name of the first one that went by, but I saw the name and the face of the second. The name is Mayban, Maban, Maban. And I'm going to tell you who it looked like. It looked like the Pope. It looked just like him. Older white man, right there in my face. And this is the word that was under it, Mayban. Now, when I looked up Mayban, I mean, I didn't even know what that meant. Well, first off, the number 13 came into focus. Then that was the first thing. Now we understood what the number 13 meant back when we were doing the research about the 12. Remember the 12 foundational, stars or whatever it was. So we did, and then the Lord said, He said there was 11 tribes, not 13. But 11, and so he was trying to point something to us, and so we did some research on the number 13. You guys remember that? Wow, the Holy Spirit is on me right now. And so when we did the research on number 13, remember it symbolized and represented rebellion. Remember that? 12 was the number for government. We talked about that in some of those videos, but 13 was the number for rebellion. And so we understood that was not a good number. And so that was the first thing that I saw in this dream. And so then oh, I'm sorry, my kitty cats are making noise. I'm all jumpy in my new house. Okay, and so then I looked up the word Mayban, and then this morning I tried to look it up, and then my internet went out, and I've not been able. My internet was down where my computer was for almost 4 days. It's just. I'm telling you, there's been a lot of attacks going on, and I want to talk to you all about that. And so I finally was able to get somewhere where I could look up what Mayban was, and when I did, you guys know I went to Wiki. And so when I did, it was a material that is held to be magical in Australia with the Aborigines. Some type of dark magic. This form of material, which is the shamans and elders of indigenous Australia, supposedly derived their magical powers. Like a crystal of some sort and or shells. And then when I went to do some researching on it, I found this article that Wiki provided. Wiki provided the link in when I was looking up Mayban about shaping reality and shape-shifting the past. And so, guys, I mean, I thought to myself, what is it you're showing me now, Lord? What is this? You guys remember when I was doing that research on Mount Sinai? Was it Mount Sinai? And there was something found about that white powder. You remember that? And that white powder of the metal. Remember the metal, the fine metal, the had was ground down into some type of powder, and that's what gave some of the dark magic or the powers to the fallen ones, and to some of the false prophets, and the prophets of Baal, and the pharaohs, soothsayers, and all of that. Remember? We talked about that. We tripped across it. It was like the Lord was still trying to show us some stuff. And so when I saw this about Mayban, and this is the name that was under that face. Now, that started to connect some things with me too, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Something's up. What is this? What does this mean? What does this mean? And so I did go and get a dream interpretation. My friend Lou provided me one. And guys, you're just not going to believe everything that this dream is showing. And so anyway, I did a lot of other research on it. I did, before I got information back from Lou in regards to the dream. I looked up to see what the name Mayban meant, and it actually means baby. And then I went and looked up what things meant in Greek and Hebrew in regards to what B-A-I-R-N meant, because when I looked up the meaning of the name baby, it gave me the word barren, B-A-I-R-N. And so I looked that up in Strong's, Hebrew and Greek. And what's funny is it's leading me back to Isaiah 11, which is the rod, the branch, the two, and all of that. And so there's a lot of information here that the Lord is trying to show us. So I wanted to go ahead and bring that to you. So now let me read to you what the interpretation of this dream was. Okay. So the first man who pretended to help, the one that lured me into the elevator, he represents Donald Trump drawing the United States into the elevator. Note here, he promises to elevate the United States back to its former glory, but this is not the truth. He is luring the United States into a box where we will be attacked. Now, she's saying, when he lured me in there, he did not present himself as Donald Trump, because he is not who he appears to be. So he's luring the United States into a box where we will be attacked. Okay, so now remember some time back when I showed you guys the picture of those convoy trucks that were parked on the side of the road, and I said in my dream they were parked on the side of the road, and that they were there under the guise as to help us, but that would not be the case. They were there, they were strategically placed there to attack. And so that is the dream that came immediately to my mind when I started reading that interpretation of the dream. So I'm going to continue going through and reading the rest of it here. The two men in the elevator are symbolic of the two men in the next part, and the fact that you woke up kicking and screaming shows that people will only wake up when it's too late. And so she's telling me here too, this dream is not about you. You were just experiencing what is coming. And so now we get to the rebellion. Those that rebelled in heaven are coming to the earth. The two men swirled past you indicates that these are not mere men, but will be indwelt by spirit beings, aka the fallen. The Lord showed you 13, and these dreams represent Revelation 13. The pictures with the names underneath made me think of wanted posters, and black writing pertains to sin, or the man of sin, the son of perdition. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 3. These two are known by another name, and the name Mayban speaks of arcane knowledge, and dark magic. Okay, so interesting that the Lord was pointing some of this out the last time we were doing some of those studies, when we were talking about Jerusalem and Jerusalem and trying to identify what mountain. Remember all of those videos? And we understood that there was something significant in Jerusalem, why everybody was fighting over it. And we came to the knowledge that there's an open heaven there. There's something to where there's an open heaven. And so we're understanding why there's such a fight for certain areas on this earth. But we learned about some of that white powder and some of that false magic. And we even talked about, would that be something that that would come about, that even the very elect would believe, and it would not be power from God on high. It would be fake. It would be a substitute, a mimic, something that the enemy would put forth to deceive. We talked about that. And so now for this to be coming up again and connecting to this dark magic, it's something very significant. And so we need to pay attention, and we need to pray over it, and we need to ask the Lord, what is it? What's coming? There's something coming, and there's two men coming. Okay, we know about the two witnesses, and we know about the false prophet and the Antichrist, but there's things building now into this area, and she's identifying the 13 being as Revelation 13. So the Lord showed her some things too in regards to what the dark magic was being like. And that you know, guys, dark magic in this world is real. I mean, it's here. It's here. You know, people have been doing voodoo and all kinds of stuff for many, many years, but stuff is getting ready to be ramped up, and we just need to be ready for it. We need to be aware that it's coming. Now the fact that you thought yearbook took me to graduation, and the fact that these two are ready to step out. We know that the false prophet is the Pope, and he is recognizable already, although not fully infilled with his demonic powers. Now, guys, I need to say, I need to stop and say, for those that are of the Catholic faith, and there is a prophecy out there that the Catholic Church is well aware of, because they hold it in their archives. They hold it in their basement of sorts. That this is actually the last Pope. You guys can go and take a look and see, and that he actually is fulfilling the prophecy as to the name, the coat of arms, and everything else that he has chosen to operate under. He has even said himself that he does not feel that he's going to be Pope very long. I mean, there's all different kinds of things that are forthcoming. And so I want you to please, if you are of the Catholic faith, Please seek the Lord on these things. We're not just trying to go out and bash anybody's religion or anybody's anything. Believe me, we're not. I'm not. But there is things coming, and if we're hearing things from the Lord, we have to put them out and we have to talk about them. Some are not going to be very pretty. Some are not going to be things we even want to try to understand. But these things are coming, and it is steadily going to start getting worse. And so we need to make sure that whatever we're putting out there is the truth that the Lord is giving us. Okay? And so I ask you, if anything that I'm saying in regards to the faith, the Catholic faith, and with the Pope, and what we're trying, what is being said in terms of this, I ask that you please go and ask the Lord about it. I myself am going to be doing the same thing. It's important that we know the truth. Amen. If it's not right, we'll correct it. If it's right, then we need to know the truth. And so we want to take it and put it out in that manner. It's not being put out to bash. It's being put out to inform. So guys, I just wanted to put that out there, because that's not who I am, and that's not what I represent. I don't bash anybody. I don't even bash the people that have falsely come against me. So guys, I just want to make sure that I'm being clear on that. Okay, so let me go ahead and continue. The fact that you thought about yearbook took me to graduation. The Pope is recognizable, although not fully infilled. This will only happen when the Lord releases the power of the scroll, when the 7 seals are broken. And we know that Obama is the coming AC, but he has not been revealed yet, which is why you did not recognize him. Again, you are witnessing what is coming prophetically. If we look at Revelation 13, we see the first beast rise up out of the sea. Obama elevated to president. Verse 11 speaks of the second beast, Trump, who appeared as a lamb, a Christian, but speaks as a dragon. Now, guys, I know for a fact that a lot of the Christian leaders all went to, remember they went to Washington, right? And they all got around Trump, and they all huddled around, and and they all came back and said, oh, he wants to do this and he wants to do that, and he's going to do this and all these great things, and that and that he's being attacked and this and that and what have you. And we know that he did come across as a Christian. Remember that he came out, and remember when he came out and he said, I saw 1 Thessalonians or 1 Corinthians, or it was about love, yeah. I read 1 Corinthians, or what have you, and then a lot of the church was like, he's not even saying it right, or who is he? What's going on with that? But a lot of the church leaders are saying, no, he's okay. He's our man. He's going to help, he's going to help turn this all around. Well, this dream that I'm having right now, and where it's being interpreted that he's being identified, he's being shown as a Christian, but he's speaking as a dragon. Well, we know that because of some of the words that are coming right out of his mouth. And so I think he's fooled a lot of people. There are some people that are opening their eyes and saying, oh gosh, wait a minute, what do we got here? But he may be playing the role he was chosen to play. And so we're going to see what happens now at this point. So Trump appeared as a lamb, but speaks as a dragon, doing Satan and Obama's bidding, setting the snare. He exercises the same power as the first beast as president and causes Obama to be brought back into power to be worshipped. In verse 5, Obama is given power to continue for 42 months. Is this what is left of Trump's term? They are both spoken of as beasts. Their power comes from Satan. These two men you see in the dream are the Pope and Obama. Note that they come as peacemakers, which is why you see them coming in white. Well, that's what I heard. They come in white. That is what I heard. I heard they come in white. So yeah, so they're going to come as a peacemaker, but they're not going to be. So Revelation 13, that's what they're pointing us to. So let's see, I think I left my pen in there. So Revelation 13, where it speaks of the beast rising out of the sea. Something I want to bring to you though. Revelation 13. It talks about being given his seat. And I thought it was very interesting. Let me look it up this way. I definitely, while it's on my mind, I definitely want to look it up right quick. Hang on one second. Given his seat and power and number, let's see. Maybe it's not Revelation. Maybe it's not Revelation 13. Let me see. Yeah, it is. 11 and 12. No. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I apologize. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't going to share that, but there is something. Please look it up. Go through and Google it. It's somewhere, and it's in the New King James. It's either in the New King James or the King James, and it is speaking of that they're given the authority to they're given the authority, they're given the power, and they're given the seat. And when I saw that word seat, I thought, oh, that's so strange, because then it tells you about the number of the man, and it gives you the number, the 666. And then I said, well, isn't that strange? Because how that's all tying in is, when I did some research not too long ago, it was in regards to the European Union, the EU, and you know they have all of those seats numbered out. Well, there is a 666 seat. And so there's something in here, and I didn't write it down because I don't have it in my journal, but it must have been when I was tripping through some of my studies. But it's got something to do with a seat, and when I saw the word seat, I said, you have got to be kidding me. So please go back and take a look at it, but that's not really what I need to get into right now, because I have a couple of, I have one more thing that I want to tell you. I do not have the interpretation of this particular dream because I just had it last night, and so let me go ahead and read that to you. So the dream that I had last night, I had a dream I was in a house and I was alone. And while I was in the home, something caught my eye outside. And when I turned to look, I saw a man looking at me from outside. And he was looking at me into the house. And he was slim. He was a slim, mid-aged black man. That's what he looked like. And when I saw him peering at me, he was peering around the corner to look at me. And so I know he didn't want me to see him. I perceived that that's what it was. And so it was like he was trying to peer at me without me seeing him, as he was situated behind a car. So he was trying to look at me. And I'm not sure, but I think the car was his that he was standing around, and it was an older blue Mustang. Not dark blue, but like baby blue, powder blue type of color. And he realized I saw him, and I watched him walk around to the front of the house, and I could see him outside. And as he was walking around to like where my front glass door was, I was walking in the house to get to that door to lock it before. And just as he put his hand on the door to open it and come in, I locked it. And I looked right at him and I said, "No, you are not coming in." And he turned to walk away, and I assumed he went back to his car, and that was really the end of the dream. He did not approach me in anger or anything, but I knew when I saw him that I needed to block him from getting in. And it was like he had a strategy, because I saw him and it was like he had to try something else. So he came around the front of the house and just trying to get in. He didn't say anything to me. He didn't have an emotion on his face or anything. He was just trying to get in my house. And it was like I thwarted his original plan, but only for the moment. Okay, so I need to say that because I was impressed upon that. It was like I thwarted his plan, but just for the moment. So I may have delayed him somehow, but just for the moment. And so interesting, this is another man dream that I had, and another one that kind of links to baby, because remember the Mayban one that I had the other day, the meaning of the name was baby. And so that's the color that I was describing that car to be, like a baby blue. And I had a sense when I awoke that the man that I was looking at in my dream was Obama. Now, guys, let me tell you, when I looked at him, there was no emotion on his face. It was like blank. It was just like he was coming to do a job without thinking about it, without caring, without anything. He was just coming to do a job. But his face was very pale, looked very pale. He almost looked like he did not have any emotions, and that what he was doing was just a matter-of-fact thing. He was coming in my house to get me, I guess. I don't know what else he would have been coming in my house for. I was there by myself. And so I'm not sure what this means. I don't know what it means. But I saw him coming to my front door, and it was a glass. It was just glass. It was not a door there. It was just a glass. And he was trying to come in, and I said, "Oh, no, you're not coming in here." And I locked that door. And he just started walking away. So, guys, I don't know what that means. I submitted that dream to Lou as well. I didn't see his face in the first dream. It went by too fast. I said, now, is this where the Lord is trying to double back and show me? I don't know. I don't know. But it certainly does tie into what the information she was giving me in the last dream and this Revelation 13. And so something's getting ready to happen. Does it tie into the EU seat number 666? Is that actually the seat number, the number of a man, the number of his name, or what have you? I don't know. I know the numbers are linked to whoever's assigned to that seat, and so I just don't know. This is so strange, but I want you guys to take a look at that and see what you can find. And see if there's anything in it that just jumps out at you. But there was something when I was looking at it. I did see something that said seat in Scripture, and and I just can't seem to find it right now. But I wasn't going to share it, but somehow I was prompted to tell you. So that's got to be a leading of the Holy Spirit. So guys, just a few things, and I'm gonna cut this video off. I guess it's just going to be one video. I don't know about you guys as far as things going on physically in your body, but I have been extremely exhausted. Just within the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, I've started sleeping a little bit better because I just don't sleep very well. I toss and turn a lot with pain, with the issue with my back and pinched nerves and all different kinds of things that I have going on. I have had numbness and a lot of different things going on, which has not been occurring up until most recently. But for the last, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days, I've really felt like I've gotten a little bit more sleep than I normally get. However, I'm waking up in the morning exhausted. Excuse me, to the point where I feel like I could go right back to sleep. Or I can't hold my eyes open past 1:30 in the day or something. It's extremely tired. I do know that in my dreams, I've been getting attacked in my dreams. I'm not sure. I say it's an attack. I mean, I was attacked in that elevator. But I believe the Lord is trying to show us something. I believe that the enemy is coming against us in many ways, trying to get us off of our path, to distract us and entice us into a different direction, so that we'll get off of our path somehow. We're so close. We're right here at the end. I'm telling you, we're right there at the end of the tunnel. We really all should be starting to understand that something is getting ready to happen. Something very significant is getting ready to happen very quickly now. And so I know that the enemy has been attacking me physically, not just with my back and the pain and all of that other stuff, but even more just the fact that for about a week, maybe even 2 weeks, I had a pain in the side of my head, and it was in one particular place, and it kept coming, and I would rub it to try to get rid of it, and it would ease off for a second, and then it would come back, and then it was an annoying pain, and I didn't know what it was, and about, I don't know, 10 days later, it was gone. I kept praying, Lord, help me with this. I don't understand what this is. I was in the middle of packing. I didn't have time to be, stroking out or anything, but I truly had those thoughts running through my mind. Lord, what is this and what's going on? And then probably about for the last week, 7 days or so, maybe just a little bit less, I've been having pain in my heart and chest pains and having issues to where I feel like I've lost my breath, and I'm trying to get some air. My heart just, I can feel something in there, like it's a pain, like I never feel a pain around my heart. I had thoughts going through my mind, Lord, am I getting ready to have a heart attack? What is this all about? And I felt like I was instructed to go take a baby aspirin, which I did. I took another one a day and a half or 2 days later or something like that, maybe 3. So I've only had 2, but I'm feeling a lot better now. But guys, this happened to me one other time before, when I felt like my body was being attacked. Was right when the Lord it was right when the Lord opened my ear to where I started hearing from Him. I had just gotten baptized, and I started hearing the Lord, and He was opening my ear and giving me the gift. And I was attacked terribly with and it might even been before that, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe my timing's off. But when I went to the grocery store, I literally was in the grocery store the last time I had this happen. I was in the grocery store. I did not think I was going to make it out. I thought if I was coming out of that grocery store, this is how bad I felt. They were probably going to take me out on a stretcher. And I was making my way, because the Lord had told me then, get some baby aspirin. I was making my way to the aspirin aisle. And I thought while I was standing there, I had to hold on to the stuff in the grocery store, the aisles, to find it, and then making my way back up to pay for it. I thought to myself, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of here. And I was by myself. I wasn't married at the time. So it wasn't when my ear. It wasn't when my ear opened with the gift. It had to be before that. Um, anyway, I paid for it, and then as I'm walking to the car, I mean, it's even in my mind. Am I going to make it to the car? Am I going to make it home? Am I going to make, that's how bad I felt. It was an extreme attack upon my body. And it has happened again, but this time in two different things, and not just, feeling like I'm having a heart attack, but also feeling like, what's going on? Is there something getting ready to happen? And I'm canceling the assignment that is out there in the mighty name of Jesus, because, I'm declaring divine health over my body. But I'm telling you, it has been one thing after another, after another, after another, and it's like it's like somehow the enemy wants to instill fear into me, or to instill something else, or to get me off track. I mean, I have a brand new. We just moved in. We just had all of the internet and all of that other stuff hooked up, the Wi-Fi and everything else, and everything was running fine until I went to go look up that name Mayban, and then everything went haywire, and I couldn't even get back on it for like 4 days. I mean, and it wasn't anything that was going on, um, it, with my computer or anything. It was another attack, and it has been one thing after another, after another, after another. Just dissension in relationships, close relationships that I have, just rebellious attitudes, and just snippets, and not snippets, that's the wrong word, snipping and snapping at each other, and just different things that you just have to stand back and you look at it and you're like, what is going on? And but that's what it is. It's just, the Lord, not the Lord, the enemy is trying to um, get us, steal our peace, get us off this path, apply as much pressure to us as they possibly can. So why? So we can turn, so we can curse God. What is it that the enemy wants us to do? I mean, think about it, guys. And so when these things are happening to you, I need for you to go and just understand and realize you can cancel the assignment against you. You can bind and loose. We talked about that in those 12 windows and 12 gates video. We talked about the power of binding and loosing. And if the power of binding and loosing can open the windows of heaven and shut them up, then it can get that enemy spirit away from you. And so bind and loose, guys. Cancel the assignment against you and declare divine health, or divine what have you, whatever's going on in your life. So I just need to pull that. Wow, the Holy Spirit is all over me. So yes, this is information He wants to get out. Guys, use your authority in the name of Jesus. Yield your sword and get those things off of you. If you are having these attacks coming against you like they've been coming against me, then use what you have, your arsenal that was given to you, to get rid of it. So guys, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Now, in regards to the being exhausted, I have had other things that are happening within my body. I don't think being tired is the issue from an enemy. And I don't think these hot flashes that I have going on right now, I thought they were gone years ago when we went through all of those hot flashes. It has increased like 1,000-fold, like overnight, just like, I mean, I can't, it's like I'm having a personal summer at least 20, 30 times a day, and it's like my whole body is on fire. It's just not like a burning, or it's like my whole body's on fire. And I can feel my head and I feel like I'm running a fever. It's just extreme heat, immediate throughout my whole body, and it lasts for a little while. I mean, it's like a hot flash. But it was like overnight. It switched overnight and increased a thousand. I say a thousandfold. I say that to express the extreme magnitude of what is going on right now. So I don't know what's going on with that. I know that I've had a lot of headaches. I've had a lot of pressure on the inside of my ears. And I've been extremely, extremely tired. Um, I think that there is a lot of changes that are going on within us, because change is getting ready to happen, and that appears to be the word of the day, change. And so, in many ways, change is coming. And so, guys, I just wanted to bring that to your attention as well. So, guys, this video has run long, but at least I went ahead and got it all done in one, where I still have the internet working, and we don't have, some other type of crazy attack going on right here at this moment. So, guys, I just wanted to say I love you. God bless you. Thank you for coming back and listening to this video. Hopefully there's some information in here that will confirm some of the stuff that you may be hearing yourself from the Lord. As soon as I get an interpretation in regards to the second dream that I have regarding O, I will bring that forth to you. I will go ahead and provide also to the word that I read first off, that was given to me yesterday, as a matter of fact. And guys, so we're so very close. Just hang on. I know a lot of us are going through a lot right now, but spiritually, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's there. It's there. So just hang on. I know things are tough for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. It's just physical for me. It's physical for some other people, but it could be financial. It could be anything. So guys, I just want you to hang on. Just hang on, because we're almost there. So guys, I just want to say thank you. God bless you. Thanks for coming back, and I'll chit chat with y'all real soon.